Hi, my name's Ashley. I'm going to be your occupational therapy student today. I'm from Presbyterian College, and today I'm just going to be going through and making a little template, getting to know you a little bit better before we start our occupational therapy sessions. Do you have any questions? Okay, perfect. And any of these questions that I ask you today, if you don't feel comfortable answering them, that's totally fine. Just let me know, and I will be writing notes. Does all that sound okay? Perfect. So first, we'll go into the first question. What was your name?
My name is Danielle Campos.
Danielle Campos, nice to meet you. So what brings you in today? What are you looking to work on?
I actually have an old ankle injury on the left side that causes some pain every once in a while. It's from a couple years back, but it still gets irritated.
Okay, absolutely. And then just a couple of things just about your daily life. So what do you do in your daily life? Do you mind just explaining what you do?
Well, right now I'm working part-time as a homemaker with senior adults. So I help them keep their house together, basically, run errands for them and stuff. So that's what I'm doing part-time right now. But I'm looking for that job.
Absolutely.
And as far as my day-to-day life, I like to be early. I used to do a lot of exercise, but it's been harder to do exercise now. After you stop, it's hard to get back into it. But I have a lot of free time, so I just go and see my friends and stuff like that. And church on Sundays and stay with my family most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the exercise that you say you do pretty frequently up until kind of recently, when you were doing the exercise, did your ankle bother you during that time?
Actually, it did bother me sometimes. I guess certain movements or exercises irritated more.
I'm gonna have to re-ask that question. That noise.
What noise? I didn't make a noise.
No, I think it was the dishwasher.
I'm gonna keep it in my house.
Okay.
I'm Danielle. I'm also a homemaker.
Yeah, he really is. Okay.
Okay. So you previously said you exercised a lot and it's pretty decreased since then. Did the ankle, was that bothering you during that time as well?
Yes, that's actually one of the reasons why I kind of scaled back on exercise and then I just kind of let it go. So I haven't done exercise in a while. But there are definitely times where it was irritated from certain movements or exercises for sure.
Yeah. And then just a little bit about your life experiences. So just what made you, some of your things that you've gone through in your life, or school-wise, anything like that.
Well, I recently graduated from Winthrop right before the pandemic. So that was a year and a half or 2 years ago, something like that. I have a degree in foreign language in Spanish and minor in social work. So that's kind of like what I'm looking for a job in, something in that area. I have one brother, he's in the military, he lives in Hawaii. My parents, well, I'm currently with my parents until I get married, so I am engaged and my fiance lives out of the country. What else? I am involved in my church. I go on Sunday morning, typically with my mom, sometimes helping the kids area during service. So I enjoy that. On my free time, I go and see my friends. I like to listen to music, like art, movies, languages. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. You might need to talk a little bit louder because the dishwasher. I'm just thinking about that.
Start
But
yelling.
that was great. All of those were
I'm trying not to go
good
too far
occupations.
into it.
No, all of those were good. Okay. So, what are some of your like personal interests and values? I know you mentioned your art, family, church. If you want to elaborate on any of that or go bring any more in.
Well, I am pretty involved in church. I like especially with COVID and stuff, it's harder these days to be around a whole lot of people. But I also have been on a mission trip to out of the country. I've visited Chile 3 times because my fiance lives there. The first time though was for a mission trip. And my family has been a big supporter in my decisions that I've made for myself. And just being with them has been so helpful for me, especially during a transition from college through pandemic to trying to get a different job and being engaged and trying to get married and stuff like that. So yeah, they've been a huge support for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of goes into our next question as well. So it's talking about like supporting in your personal and also in your environment. So definitely you would say your family is supporting, since you did mention
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Are there anything else in your environment, such as your technology, your relationships you did mention, anything like the natural environments where we live, anything like that? Anything that supports or inhibits you?
So like
You live in
helps
South Carolina.
me or okay.
Yeah, helps you or doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say my friends and family and my fiance are like my biggest supporters. They push me to be better, to want to be better. So I would say that probably my biggest inhibitor. Probably myself.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Probably myself. So I don't know, just like trying to strive to be more ambitious and know that I'm capable of doing bigger things with my life. That would probably be my biggest struggle, but I'm obviously learning, so hopefully that's one thing I can get better at.
Absolutely. Kind of at the end, we'll, ask you some of your goals. So if you want to think about that, that's awesome. And some of your personal things that help you or hinder you as well. Your age, your gender identity, social background, your upbringing, anything like that.
Well, I would say being younger, a younger adult, kind of gives you more advantages especially like looking for a job and stuff, which is a big thing. I want to have a better job. So being younger and more open to learning new things and being moldable, I think that's an advantage I have. Probably being a woman would be kind of in the middle. Like there are bad things and there are good things, but with society and stuff. But that's a whole other thing. But I think my biggest advantage is being moldable and wanting to learn more.
Yeah. And is there anything that kind of hinders you in that situation?
I think a lot of people think that our generation of young people are a certain way. They kind of put them in a box, So they think everybody's the same. I like to think I'm a unique person, so hopefully I'm not like everybody else. But I think that could be a disadvantage of being younger.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, now we're going to be talking about your habits and your routines. So what are some things that you participate in your daily life that have kind of changed over time?
Like due to the injury or?
Just in general. Yeah.
Well, kind of like I told you at the beginning, I used to do exercise like probably 4 or 5 days out of the week, and now I've kind of fizzled out. Mainly because of just trying to create a routine is hard, but also having an injury that comes up still kind of inhibits me from doing that as frequently or, but what else? I would say
That's totally fine.
I
Yeah,
think
totally
that's it,
fine.
yeah.
I know you mentioned living with your parents. How has that changed over your life?
I think more now I realize how much more important they are than, when you're a little kid, you rely on your parents probably more than you would now, but you don't realize how important that that relationship is with your parents until you get older and you realize that the real world isn't as it seemed when you were younger. And so I think that's definitely changed over the years, but in a good way.
Always in a good way. So now we're going to be going back to the supporting and also inhibiting area. But what are some of your values and beliefs that, you know, support you, and then also some that might hinder you?
Well, being a Christian, I think that gives me the assurance that I don't need to be perfect in everything that I do, that God is perfect and we're not meant to be perfect. So that kind of gives me some assurance, even though sometimes, I mean, obviously I don't always think that way, but, and also just knowing that I'm capable of more than I think I am. I think that.
Okay, due to technical difficulties of Danielle's video, it just cut out, unfortunately, and due to COVID, I'm not able to go back up to go see her to finish filming, but we were at her values, beliefs, and spirituality in the supporting and engaging role, so I'm just gonna go over the rest of the sheet and her goals for the video. So overall, it goes into her body functions and her body structures. Some things that support her in her body functions and structures is that overall she's really like healthy and she eats well as well. And that's something that is a big priority to her. And then she is pretty flexible, is something that she's proud of, especially with the ankle injury. She can compensate for her ankle injury by being flexible as well. And she has very good mental health. And so that's something that she prides herself in, that she works on pretty frequently. Now, some of the inhibiting factors is that she has arthritis, and that also runs in her family. So sometimes that can be really bad on her ankle, and sometimes bad on her knee. That, you know, plays into her injury as well. And then she also has not great vision. She needs glasses, but doesn't own glasses. So that is something that inhibits her, and then also just joint pain in general. As far as her goals go, she did talk about her fiance who's in the other country, and then about her family being supportive as well. So some of her, you know, occupational goals as a fiance: she wants to be married this year, waiting on all the paperwork and everything. She wants to be able to move out of her house once she gets this new job, hopefully. And so she'll become a better employee once she gets a job that she enjoys as well. Prevention, she's definitely going to invest in more ankle braces, different types of tape, and just having more precautions in general, especially when playing volleyball. Health and wellness, as she mentioned earlier, that her exercise has gone down recently just because of the weather outside. The injury is just flaring up. So she's going to start exercising slowly, especially using some of her precautions. She's going to continue eating well. Overall, her quality of life and just well-being in general is just making sure she's going to be in a good headspace and continuing that trend, even though she's pretty well with her mental health right now and overall good body functions. That's just something that she would like to continue. And then as far as her occupational justice goes, she wants to be learning more Spanish, especially when it comes to her major. She majored in Spanish and social work, and so now this job that's happening is she is becoming a translator for victims' assistance, and so that's one thing that she wants to be able to do. And as far as the justice portion goes, she wants to be able to be a voice for those who haven't had a voice before. And then also be able to speak out against the visa process with Venezuelan refugees being able to come to the United States, because that is her fiance. And that is her AOTA occupational profile.